So, good evening and good morning. Welcome to this week's Friday Study Circle, where we are reading the Sunlit part from the Mother with passages from what Mother has said. And so, last week we had taken up the passage only open to the divine, and this week we'll take up stepping back. I'm just trying to make it big. Yeah, stepping back. So if anybody has the capacity, if they wish to read, they can please unmute and do so. Otherwise, I'll read.
I'll read.
Yes, Captain. Thank you.
Stepping back. Most of you live on the surface of your being, exposed to the touch of external influences. You live almost projected, as it were, outside your own body. And when you meet some unpleasant being similarly projected, you get upset. The whole trouble arises out of your not being accustomed to stepping back. You must always step back into yourself. Learn to go deep within. Step back and you will be safe. Do not lend yourself to the superficial forces which move in the outside world. Even if you are in a hurry to do something, step back for a while and you will discover to your surprise how much sooner and with what greater success your work can be done. If someone is angry with you, do not be caught in his vibrations, but simply step back and his anger, finding no support or response, will vanish. Always keep your peace, resist all temptation to lose it. Never decide anything without stepping back. Never speak a word without stepping back. Never throw yourself into action without stepping back. All that belongs to the ordinary world is impermanent and fugitive. So there is nothing in it worth getting upset about. What is lasting, eternal, immortal, and infinite, that indeed is worth having, worth conquering, worth possessing. It is divine light, divine love, divine life. It is also supreme peace, perfect joy, and all mastery upon earth with the complete manifestation of the crowning. When you get the sense of the relativity of things, then whatever happens, you can step back and look. You can remain quiet and call on the divine force and wait for an answer. Then you will know exactly what to do. Remember, therefore, that you cannot receive the answer before you are very peaceful. Practice that inner peace. Make at least a small beginning and go on in your practice until it becomes a habit with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Just the topic itself, stepping back, it says a lot. And the problem is that we get too close, we get too entangled, we consider it too real. Everything big and small has the capacity to become a matter of, significant importance to us. Some happening, one comment, one look, the way it moves us, the way it just, shakes us, makes us shiver in our bodies, we know. We have read so many prayers and meditations by the mother which talk about circumstances. But see how little outer circumstances matter. And yet, when we look at our lives, outer circumstances are what matter to me. They don't seem real. When I listen to it, when I hear it, it sounds beautiful that yes, see how little outer circumstances matter. But when my life appears to be going here and there or upside down, the way I cling or react, it shows how much more stepping back needs to happen. No matter how much step back I think I am, still there is so much more potential, capacity, need, requirement of stepping back. So mother begins by saying that most of you live on the surface of your being, exposed to the touch of external influences. And this is like, yes, absolutely, mother, we do. You live almost projected, as it were, outside your own body. And when you meet some unpleasant being similarly projected, you get upset. The whole trouble arises out of your not being accustomed to stepping back. We see that, right? How we catch anger, decisions, lust, confusion, fear. How we catch it, we catch it. And why do I catch it? Because I'm not settled in my being, because I'm not stepped back. I'm considering all this to be the only reality. I forget there is, if I would like to say greater reality, but if I can't forget, can't remember that or believe that, I can at least see that maybe I can remember there is also another reality, which is at least this much true as the thing that I can see it is. But whatever happens, it does make me, dance to its tunes. So if I want to learn how not to dance to the tunes, how maybe to dance a little less, maybe to jump a little less, maybe to be puppeted a little less, slowly, slowly, slowly. So the mother is telling me the whole trouble arises out of your not being accustomed to stepping back. So when I consider this too real, when I consider this everything, if I consider this, yes, this is a matter of life and death, everything, how do I step back? Since after the NDE, lot of times, and I wish there were more times I should practice this. It's like, I'm doing something, I'm walking somewhere, and suddenly this thought comes that, is this real? Or like, is it not a dream? And it really helps, right? It just puts things in perspective. There is a surreality. Life is surreal. If you actually are aware of it, attentive to it, it is surreal. We are taking the topic of death in the harmony circle. If we have ever, any of us have faced it up close, it's the strangest thing in the world. Somebody's just standing, sitting, laughing with you, and they are gone. If that is not surreal, what is? I sleep every night, I don't know where I go. I wake up and again the life is as it is. It is surreal. Things that moved me, felt like end of things and stuff. Now, after a few months, years, they feel, oh, that was nothing. Oh, I did it. उसमें तो कुछ नहीं था. So there is something not very real about the reality that we think is real. I am sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this, but yes, like at the rate of, is it not an illusion? Is it not a dream? It really helps in kind of knocking, if not nothing else. It knocks in your being and asks that, is it? Is it real? Is it? So even those, few moments of that question, even, I mean, no answer is needed, it helps. So the whole trouble arises out of pure not being accustomed to stepping back. So pausing here in case any reflections or comments before I go on. So you must always step back into yourself, learn to go deep within. Step back and you will be safe. It's like if I'm walking on the road and something happens somewhere outside. Or if, like, my favorite example, that if I'm driving, especially on the streets of Delhi, and they're honking all around, unless somebody's honking behind me, it doesn't bother me because I know it's not meant for me. So, similarly, when we step back, we don't feel the attack like that. It just feels like it's happening, and then I can respond. So that is the importance of stepping back. You don't take it personally. It doesn't hit you directly. You can just see, okay, it's there. It's out there on the table. And I can choose what to do with it. So you must always step back into yourself, learn to go deep within, step back, and you will be safe. Everybody wants to be safe. Our lives, we hardly live them because we want to be safe. Just, I'm generalizing. A lot of us do that. So if we want the true safety, Mother is saying, step back and you will be safe. Do not lend yourself to the superficial forces which move in the outside world. So we give ourselves to the superficial forces which move in the outside world. And Mother is saying, do not do that. Do not lend yourself to the superficial forces which move in the outside world, which we take as the reality and sadly the only reality. So even if you are in a hurry to do something, step back for a while and you will discover to your surprise how much sooner and with what greater success your work can be done. So, inviting reflections on this part, this is very interesting. Okay, do we know why this would happen? Why, if we are stepped back and even if we are in a hurry, things would actually happen sooner than later? But in the sense, they'll be faster if we are stepped back rather than we are doing it mindlessly in a hurry.
In fact, from the very beginning of our life, uh, the sense organs, five sense organs, what we have to sense the thing, and we had been using this sense organ is almost like antennas, like TV antennas. Like Mother is telling, you're projected. So this body, we were living in this outside surface only, and that is the life actually. There is for looking back or stepping back, what is there inside that we've never been told and never been practiced or never paid any attention to learn it also. So as a result, very chaotic type of life we're leading in general from the very beginning of our life. And like you go to the picture hall, the sound is so much, you know, at times it becomes unbearable. Sometimes personally I feel it's just too loud to understand. But so many people are going, nobody is telling that it's very loud sound. They got used to it actually over a period of time. So every one of us probably we got used to it to live on the surface life. Then The other day I went to one, pub. This is big picture in Bangalore, big picture. The four, five floors are there, and everywhere there is a different program going on. And you enter anyone, the sound is so much, you get totally lost. Maybe the first time I went, and that was the last time. I do not want to go there because you lose your sense, common sense. Actually, that's loud so much, and people are drinking and dancing over there, and all these programs are going on. So instead of keeping quiet, like the first time when I went to Aurobindo ashram, so there we are working, and there are some volunteers en route, and they were saying that please don't talk, please keep quiet, please keep quiet, something like that. So this quiet we don't have in India now. Probably we feel that there is no place where there is no sound unwanted actually. So and we got used to it, and we react immediately. The reaction comes in that body. All this has become the part of life actually, day-to-day affairs. If I drive here in Bangalore, and now the person knows behind me that I cannot go fast because in front there are a couple of vehicles, but still that chap will be keep honking. You cannot stop. They're all educated, maybe educated in the sense that they have got the degrees, and probably if you say that it must be postgraduate or whatever. But the basic instinct that has not changed of the human being. We are come now for stepping back uh, when we have something within us, like when the child is born, we teach them this is nose, this is ear, and the child learns. But we never say that there is somebody inside, which cannot be seen on the screen, but it is also there. You know, if something is there, so then probably in school, in the syllabus, it is not there. In the college syllabus, it is not there. Now, if the mother is the only teacher who is there from the beginning. The mother is the only person who can tell that, see, there is something inside. So you must practice that to keep quiet. Don't not chatter always, or concentrate on the chattering outside. So these are not been taught. I am not trying to blame anybody, but the surrounding atmosphere has got a lot of effect on our upbringing. So then at a later date, because we inside, I was actually a good person. That there was no deficiency in me, but I have been taken away somewhere else. I have been robbed of by the nature, existing nature, and we tend to have this sort of very disturbed life with sound and all sort of uh, you know interesting things which are coming, and we tend to say something which is actually bad, not good for us, but we say these are good, these are good, these are good, and all this. So it's very difficult. Mother, in the first sentence of this itself, is saying that most of you live on the surface of your being, exposed to the touch of external influences. Like this influence of the society outside is so much that it has totally captured me. I don't have I don't know the stepping back what I can say. You see, you're useless in this society. When you grow up and you step back, the partner may say that you are useless because you're not reacting. That person was shouting at you and you are keeping quiet. If I would have been there, I would have slapped that person. Something like that. The reaction will come from my life partner. So these sort of things are everywhere. Everywhere you take examples. It is day in and day out. It's happening actually. Anytime. And what you had been you had been saying that if you step back, or you think that is it really useful for me or anything of this nature, or you just stop, you yourself just stop amid that all this noise and all this, you will come to know that you are most peaceful, and you can see the world actually how is it like. If somebody get angry and I am also there, so I just keep quiet and observe. So it stopped. If the two persons, me and one more person, we are just shouting each other or getting angry, I know that the other person is angry. Whatever that person is doing, that in a normal this thing he will not do. He or she will not. But what I do is I practice. I means from the childhood I was doing. I just keep quiet. If I have to talk on the same point when everything is fair and all, maybe after 1 hour, 2 hours, or maybe after 1 day or 2 day only, I'll raise the topic. Let anything go to hell, I know. And I have seen a good result of it actually. I don't lose good. So I try to keep quiet, but in the the family life and all, sometimes what Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says that you have to do force means that snake. If you are not doing anything, if you are not creating some sound, also they will think that you cannot do anything. But not harming anybody, but you can create some sound. You can raise your voice, and you know that you are not annoyed or angry or anything of this. You are raising the voice because without raising that voice, the point is not heard. So that sort of thing. So, but you are conscious. You are conscious of doing this. That story you must be remembering that Narada used to go every day in the evening to the heaven from the earth, and there's somebody on the way. So they these cowherds, these boys were there and all, and there was a snake in a tree, living in a tree, and so that snake was a cobra or something. So one day the snake came out and all those 10, 20 boys, and they attacked that snake. Means they were saying that don't go there because that snake is there and it will bite. So they try to throw stones and try to hit and all this. So when Narada was going, that snake says that, see, I am living here, but this is the problem I am facing at all. So he says, you be good to yourself, means yourself, and you will be good to others also. So don't react. Let them do whatever they're doing. So they used to come every day with their catties and all, for grazing and all this. And that place there was a tree. In that tree only the snake was there. So one day that snake came out for some food or something, and these people they saw and they bit black and blue, and they're not in a position to move and all this. So then Narada was coming back after a few days and all, and he couldn't see that snake. So he says, once I have spoken to that person, the person cannot die without this. So he must be around somewhere. So then he was searching that area and all. He could see that the snake is hurt and is lying down in the floor. Then he asked the snake what has happened. The snake says that you have told me that not to do anything and all this. So I was keeping quiet, and they have beaten me like this and broken my bones and this and that. So then Narad says, I have told you not to bite, but I have not told you not to make the hissing sound. If you would have made that hissing sound, they should have run away from that place. So, that hissing sound, sometimes it is required. If you're staying in a family life, if you are going to the ashram and this thing and all, or Himalaya for doing meditation and all these are not required. But in that family life, probably we have to create some noise. But I'm not going. I'm going, outside the topic. The idea is that we should not be disturbed by anything. And from myself, what am I? So that was the thoughts which has come into our mind. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Captain. So we were reading that even if you're in a hurry to do something, step back for a while and you will discover to your surprise how much sooner and with what greater success your work can be done. So usually when we are lost in our stories, we are not even there fully. So, but when we are stepped back, we can focus on the task with full energy. We are fully there. So even if we're in a hurry, Mother says, step back for a while And it sounds counterintuitive that how would that help? And that's why she says that to your surprise, you will discover how much sooner and with what greater success your work can be done. If someone is angry with you, do not be caught in his vibration, but simply step back and his anger, finding no support or response, will vanish. I think this is really beautiful. It's really hard to practice this when, somebody is angry and they're throwing things at you, not materially. But if we do not get caught in their vibration and step back, their anger would vanish too. It's very revelatory and we must all try. Always keep your peace. Resist all temptation to lose it. The ego wants to lose it, right? The ego says, oh, come on, I can also say, that person has punched me with his words and I can punch them back with mine. Or how dare they? Or, I can show them the light. But lot of times, mostly all the time, we give up our peace for our ego, for our images, for our clarifications, and for our justifications. But if we keep our peace and resist all temptation to lose it, that's what we can do if we are step back. And we have seen it, right? We have seen it in our everyday life. Sometimes something is happening and you're about to react, you're about to question, you're about to respond, and there is a voice which says, let it be, let it go, don't go there. But in my, fervor to show, to prove, to question, to understand, whatever reason I would give myself, I don't stop and I question, I retort, I judge, I whatever. Even in, if my intention is right, that okay, I want to understand why anybody would do that. What do I lose in the process? I lose my peace. And that is not a good bargain. And we have discussed it before, and I know Jagan was very dumbfounded when we discussed it once that, we can show anger and not be angry. We can be angry and yet not be angry. And it takes practice, but once you start, there are a lot of times when you can practice, and it's like a muscle that we develop. And that you can do when you step back. Yeah.
I've been just randomly, I just randomly opened the page from Savitri, and there is this line. The reason again why to step back. Again, it says, um, an inner law of beauty shapes our lives. Our words become the natural speech of truth. Each thought is a ripple on a sea of light. So, like, the thing I want to take from this is, there are times when the surface, in a situation where I want to react, the surface has this immediate answer that it wants to give. Say, okay, like just confront this situation. But also by being able to step back by grace, I think there is this power to listen also to the other, to the psychic within of what he's trying to say. And being able to, I don't know, being able to maybe um, stand in the other person's side and be able to see why he's reacting the way he's reacting. Ma'am, yesterday, Monica ma'am's session, she was talking about the vows of Bodhisattva and how one's ego can be only controlled by saying that all, let all the sorrow, like I absorb all the sorrow and I give away all my happiness. And she says, although this doesn't sound acceptable, but it still is the only way to suppress one's ego, because the ego does not agree to it. The ego says, no, you should be happy. No, happiness is for you, living for you. But the right way is that happiness is not, it's not one person's. So, how important it is to be able to step back, and also in the process, how important it is to call for the grace, just say, Mother, right when that moment comes to react. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to share.
Yes, Sajan, and so basically it's a practice called Tonglen. So that's in that we do that. And you started by saying that a superficial self wants to or this, but and this is the catch, right? When it's happening, we don't see this as a superficial self, right? But when we sit with it, say if something is happening and I'm feeling extremely angry with the person, and I ask myself, have I been here before? And mostly the answer is yes. So then I ask myself, I was so angry with that person maybe 15 times before this, or maybe make it 150 times, depending on the relationship. Where does that anger go? Right? If this, what I am experiencing, is true, where does it go? Why does it not stay? Why does it become okay? In 1 hour, 1 month, 1 year, why does it become okay? Because if this was real, it would not go, right? So there it shows that, okay, this is something that's not real. This is something which is superficial. But for this, one needs grounding, right? One needs to be stepped back. Otherwise, how will that happen? Because if we are able to do it, it's very clear. It's very clear that I don't need to react. I must not react for my peace and for the other most of the time. So yeah, so if we can see the superficial as the superficial, it helps. Yes, Praveen.
Yeah. And also, it's so surprising. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised that the other day, I know my Nilakar uncle, he was telling me that, you may try 1,000 different methods, but if you are not, like, if you don't have that zeal to, transcend, if you don't have that, will to overcome yourself and to go to that state, then you will see a million practices, but you may resonate, but it's not worth it. He was telling me, was just pointing at me only. And it really made me think that, okay, yeah, like, is it really that I'm doing it for myself, or is it really that I'm doing it for someone else? And that kind of opened a new channel. And when, you know, when someone is angry at me, especially, it's not that, you know, the only thing I see in me trying to respond is my ego. My ego is what triggers that surface response, because he does not want to be, the not like he does not want to be pointed at. So the next day, like yesterday's session, Monica ma'am shared this the thing uh, the Tonglen practice, and that also kind of, it's like I'm being given directions. A Tonglen practice will help with, controlling that ego, or like channeling that ego. And then, once the ego is, like, taken care of, then I think stepping back becomes more easy, because I don't have to attend to uh, this ego.
Yes. So welcoming more reflections, if any. So just reading this again, it's really powerful. If someone is angry with you, do not be caught in his vibrations, but simply step back and his answer finding no support or response, will vanish. Always keep your peace. Resist all temptation to lose it. Never decide anything without stepping back. Never speak a word without stepping back. Never throw yourself into action without stepping back. All that belongs to the ordinary world is impermanent and fugitive. So there is nothing in it worth getting upset about. And this is where we live, right? This is why we say, why is there so much misery in the world? Why is it so hard? Why is there so much pain? So all that belongs to the ordinary world is impermanent and fugitive. So there is nothing in it worth getting upset about. What is lasting, eternal, immortal, and infinite, that indeed is worth having, worth conquering, worth possessing. It's such a common thing when they say कि देखो कि साथ क्या जाएगा, क्या साथ क्या लेके जाओगे. So this is what they are pointing us at, right? कि what I can take with me, which is lasting, eternal, immortal, infinite, that is worth having, worth conquering, worth possessing. And all that is ordinary, all that belongs to my regular world, is impermanent and fugitive, and there is nothing worth getting upset about because it keeps changing. It is divine light, divine love, divine life. It is also supreme peace, perfect joy, and all mastery upon earth with the complete. Just 1 second. Yeah, I'm so no, Soham. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So, what is lasting, eternal, immortal, and infinite, that indeed is worth having, worth conquering, worth possessing, possessing. It is divine light, divine love, divine life. It is also supreme peace. We are looking for light, but we get satisfied with diyas and candles. We're all looking for love, but we get satisfied with, I don't know, what is thrown at us in the name of love. We are looking for a divine life, but we get satisfied very easily with the small trinkets that we are given. We are told that what is eternal, immortal, infinite, and worth possessing is the divine light. Don't stop with the small candles. It is divine love, divine light. It is also supreme peace, perfect joy, and all mastery upon earth, with the complete manifestation as the crowning. So all mastery upon earth, with complete manifestation, that, when we say, may the divine manifest in me. So when you get the sense of the relativity of things, when I'm crying for something that as it is had to go, if not today, tomorrow. And when I can see what I am doing, when I can see the relativity of things, then whatever happens, you can step back and look. You can remain quiet and call on the divine force and wait for an answer. So when you get the sense of the relativity of things, then whatever happens, you can step back. So this relativity of things, I think, is very important. And this is something we are seeing again and again in this passage, that what I consider to be light is not really light. There are so many bigger lights, higher lights waiting for me. What I consider to be love is not divine love. And I deserve that. Just 1 second. Yeah, I'm sorry. Then you will know exactly what to do. So when you get the sense of the relativity of things, then whatever happens, you can step back and look. You can remain quiet and call on the divine force and wait for an answer. Then you will know exactly what to do. But how do we do things? We already know what to do. We don't want to wait. We don't want to pause. And that's why everything appears bigger than everything. So when I can remain quiet and call on to the divine force and wait for an answer, then you will know exactly what to do. And it's hard, it's really hard, but it's really helpful and it works if we have the capacity to practice this. So remember, therefore, that you cannot receive the answer before you are very peaceful. If my peace is superficial, I will not be able to receive the answer. The mother is warning us, she's telling us that remember that you cannot receive the answer before you're very peaceful. And why is she saying that? Because in our cleverness, we often say, oh, I tried, but it didn't work. See, it doesn't work for me. Or it doesn't work in this case or that case. So we are being told that yes, if you know that you didn't receive an answer, that means there was something that you didn't do right. You were not, the level of peace that you practice this in needs to be improved. Practice that inner peace, make at least a small beginning and go on in your practice until it becomes a habit with you. So practice that inner peace, make at least a small beginning. So if, right now, if say anger sounds too big, maybe I can practice it in smaller things, the small everyday things that disturb me. Some are known, some are unknown. Some are, routine. Okay, every time this person does it, I get upset or I get angry. So if I've recognized that pattern, I can practice that inner peace, make at least a small beginning, and go on in my practice until it becomes a habit. So when everything is a habit, when I am a product of my habit, if I say, oh, this doesn't seem okay, or this I can't do because I'm not used to, and if I have to, all I have to do is start practicing, right? And I change, and I change. So what we take as the final word, or this is it, it cannot be changed. It's just because I'm used to things a certain way, and I can and I will get used to the things the other way too. And I don't have to get used to anything. I can keep things supple and flexible, but Yeah, there's always a potential to change. Even, in that group when we spoke about that, what mother was saying, what being young means, what we were, discussing, that it's to never admit the irreparable, that nothing is there which cannot be repaired.
Uh, there are, while reading this sentence, there are 2 points which are coming to my mind. When you get the sense of the relativity of things, then whatever happens, you can step back and look. You can remain quiet and call on the divine force and wait for an answer. So it's quite important sentence in this paragraph. Uh, so I was a physics student and I was reading Einstein's theory of relativity. It was very difficult, but somehow, whatever little bit I could understand. So they use this knowledge of relativity, uh, you know, to measure some distance or to saying some weight and all. There is a standard procedure, and you have to follow the standard procedure. Then only you can say it is 1 foot long or not. You cannot see from one end of the scale of 1 meter, 1 foot scale, and you can say it is 1 foot. You have to see from the center, and your eyes, both the eyes should be perpendicular. It is kept in Britain in some of the museum where that standard has been defined that you have to look from this side and you have to look this side when you have to the left hand side. So you have to come back here, and when you go to the right of 1 foot, then your eyes are should be focused on that, and then you can see this is the distance of 1 foot. So like that, it has been discussed. So what Einstein says that unless you follow this, so if I throw one object, say like a scale, and depending upon the speed, and you see smaller actually, you don't see 1 foot. This is the relativity actually. The theory of relativity he has proved like this, that say 5 feet long this thing you are throwing, but you are seeing from an angle where it will look like it is 1 foot actually, not 5 feet. But actually, if you measure at rest, it will be 5 feet. So, like that, the theory of relativity is formed actually, what we could understand easily. Now, in the world, are exposed to the external influences where in the surface of a being, what we are seeing is actually the relativity of the things. Anything we understand that this has happened because from our my old practices and old understanding and whatever has gone in my mind, I am judging against that standard and I am getting annoyed or not agreeing to the something and all this. So this is relatively this relativity. If we remember at any point of time that whatever I am saying that may not be correct, there may be it may be something else also. Like you had been focusing on that. Like this, it appears that this is correct, but it only appears, and there may be some other theory to prove that. Like if you look at the sky in the daytime and the bright sunlight, and we can see the color of the sky is blue, but it is not blue. So it's actually appearing blue, that appearance. So that relativity, we have to see that whatever is happening, the relative of the things, if we keep quiet for a certain while, certain time, and if we're stepping back, then probably we'll be able to understand in any situation whether I'm right or wrong or what. Then the second point was about the you can remain quiet and call on the divine force and wait for an answer. So the divine force is within me. So I have to ask the divine force that whatever I'm saying or doing or this and that, whether is it correct? So I wait for that answer. That question I have to put and I wait for that answer. The Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he survived only for 50 years. And various masters used to come and teach him some of the thing like yoga and this and that and all this of different practices like Hindu, Muslim, Christian. Means everybody came and so there was one person. His name was Totapuri. Totapuri. He came. He was a naked sannyasi. He came and is realized soul actually. He was to teach non-duality. So he says, "Are you ready to, because if you are going to learn something, means your mind should be free. Mind should be free to accept that teaching." So he said, "Are you ready?" He says, "Let me ask my mother." Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, "Let me ask my mother." So the Totapuri thought that he must be having his, the living mother. Actually, mother was also there. So he must have gone home to ask the mother and come back. So he asked mother in the sense that goddess Kali, with whom actually, and inside also he used to say that mother. Mother means if we look inside, that is the stepping back me. I have to ask me means there is somebody. So that was the mother actually. So he went to the temple and asked mother. Mother said that yes, you can go ahead. So he came back and said that yes, my mother said. So the Totapudi thought that he has gone to ask his with flesh and blood mother and something like that. But that was kept in his mind because that becomes it becomes the duality. There is mother and there is another human being separate, so it becomes duality. But he came and started teaching of non-duality. So with that answer, he was satisfied and he started giving the coaching, and he saw that within a very short time, and he could realize Ramakrishna Paramahansa, the student could realize, and he gained whatever he wanted to teach. Maybe it should take normally say about 15-20 days or something, and he did it with 1 or 2 days or something. So uh, so asking the mother means asking inside there is somebody, all of us are going inside somebody. If I keep quiet and if we step back and if we ask for this thing, so that answer will come. That will be the correct answer. And if we if we get angry and instead, so we are not within ourselves actually. This is outside. This is the surface of your being. So this thought was coming. This story is little longer, but it is not connected with our present thing. But only thing connected is the and wait for an answer. Ask the divine force and wait for an answer. So this was linked with that story. This really happened actually. It has been recorded in many places and all that everybody subsequently it is recorded in so many places. It was truth that happened like this. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Captain. Yeah, Deepa, you had unmuted. I don't know by mistake or you wanted to share.
Yeah, I think that was an error.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything? Nothing? Okay. So, yeah. So I think, we are done then. This was a simple passage. Jagan is laughing. And yet, the simpler thing, it's not that we don't know. We just don't practice. I'm just rereading Jet Sunmala's book, Cave in the Snow. I read it maybe 2 back, 2 years back, and it's beautiful to read it again. And there she was, talking about, she was sharing that how one of the practitioners, there was a specific name, like group of young boys who would practice a certain practice. They shared with her that it's not that we are practicing something new or something difficult or something that you cannot. It's just that we all know, but the fact that I can do it is because I just practice and you don't. So it's all about just practice. That next time when I'm getting sucked in, when I'm getting pulled in, am I able to step back? Am I able to know that I can step back? Do I give myself that choice that yes, I don't have to fall? And we have, I'm sure, stepped back several times. And the more importance we give give to simplicity and light and peace, and less attraction we have for the drama, the more we'll be grounded, and the more peace will be in us. So just if there's anything please unmute and share. Otherwise, from my end, I think we are done. And I apologize for the constant distraction. So we have 3 kids playing around in the background. It's just one or two days. So sorry about that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So just taking a minute to thank Grace for the session, for these words which Mother says are not mere words, they are forces in action. So if I have to get influenced by a force, may it be Mother's force. If I have to do something, may it be the highest that is my possibility, the highest that I can see today. So may I be able to step the step that I can see and not say that, I cannot see the full range. Aspiring this for myself and for all beings, sharing peace, sharing joy with everybody. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.